When Djordje reached out to me about this exhibition, I got this article that was shared from her about this astrology that related to political ideology and then how we look at the world. For me, looking up in the sky in a way of this interstellar connection is very similar to a diasporic experience of so far yet so close. You're familiar with that, but you always kind of feel like you're outside in that way.
The title is kind of play of words because you're regaining the memory loss. And well, I wanted to reflect on my kind of childhood in Serbia or Yugoslavia at the time. I don't remember all of them, but I wanted to recreate some of them from kind of that memory, which was half lost, half kind of there. I just wanted to kind of remember that time, kind of teenage years, basically. So it was all kind of vague.
And then specifically for this show, because it's the first time I'm showing at home, in the more full presentation, I wanted to kind of combine the idea of how much of that, the homesick element of that is within. Yeah, but like looking up in the sky. So the work inside with the linen is basically out of this other work that I made before. It's also Pioneer Plague. So initially, Pioneer Plague is from the NASA space program. The intention is to reach outer space with a simple graph of explaining what we are on the Earth. And even with outer space program, they're kind of referencing as a great achievement, but still underneath that is about the power, it's about the colonial nature, it's about domination. So that is a historical fact that I'm using in terms of recontextualize it, kind of rewriting the stories. And then a very significant way and then reason that I use what I'm using right now is also because the idea of cave painting is that we found a charcoal. So I wanted to go a step before that, before we established that kind of vertical hierarchy. I wanted to rewrite it with the material before that charcoal. So I decided to rewrite it with fire. And then the technique called pyrography. In Greek, pyrography literally means writing with fire. And writing itself, or so much or so reading itself, is very important for me. Literature itself, and then poetry itself. I think for me, poetry is art. So I wanted to blend the hierarchy of text and painting itself. So I kind of want to force them together, become one. And that's one intention. I think if I did not write, the work is actually not done at all. Writing itself, sit down to write about the work itself, it's a very crucial component for the work to be finished.
I've been using kind of references to classical art since the beginning, kind of when I started painting it. So my early memories were of mostly older paintings. It actually comes from my, early days when I was looking at paintings, basically. But I was looking at stuff that I could find in the museums, first in Serbia, and then when I moved to London, it kind of expanded into more contemporary art. And I sourced inspiration from different, really eclectic mix of sources. So it was logical in a way to combine those influences, which would involve sometimes references to classical paintings or contemporary art or popular culture or whatever the inspiration was at the time. I got the kind of idea for this series when I was intrigued. I was sent some kind of images from Instagram, which were AI generated, kind of artificial intelligence. They were, you could immediately tell that they are artificial intelligence, but there was something kind of odd with all these images that I've seen so far, kind of artificial intelligence, even when it generates real kind of people. And it's strange that seemingly artificial intelligence can create kind of things, but you always recognize the fakeness, at least in the images of people. And I mean, I was interested in trying to, maybe through painting, to make them more kind of softer, or to make them more humane, at least. So to get rid of the AI element, but still paint the AI generated image. That was the idea of the whole show. Not to see how I remembered things, but to see what will come out of that lack of remembrance or foggy kind of memories, you know, long time ago.